Well, welcome back, folks. It's been a while. Back to the original Backyard Baseball, not Backyard Baseball 2001 as we usually do, as it was reenacted by Mega Cat Studios and Playground Productions, now colloquially known as Backyard Baseball 97. And we're going to have a 9-inning game here of Backyard Baseball. This is Dale Cofield, that's Tim Cofield. And we'll go back to the field that we all know and love, where Backyard Baseball 2001 started, Ekman Acres. Here is Sunny Day and Vinny the Gooch.
Here we are again, ready to kick off another baseball extravaganza. This is Sunny Day and Vinny the Gooch here at Ekman Acres, where 10 balls have already been lost this season to the next door neighbor, old Mrs. Cranky Pants.
Today we'll see a close matchup between the Super Duper All-Stars and the Junior Hornets. Fans, don't forget to eat way too much cotton candy today so that you're not hungry at dinner time tonight. Your parents will think it's the funniest thing since your last report card.
Alrighty then, it's time for some baseball.
It is Hornets All-Stars, Ekman Acres.
Pitching today is Billie Jean Blackwood.
Billie Jean's arms are too skinny to throw a decent heat, but every once in a while, she'll pull out a crazy ball that'll knock your socks off.
I'm gonna strike y'all out. When we is the first
Billie Jean so far is not one
is just
to be
beginning.
pitching, really, but Tim, just talk about how different this is a bit compared to Backyard Baseball 2001.
Ready now, and the off.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got 18 of the 30 backyard kids, not just,
and it goes foul.
because half the league in Backyard Baseball 2001 and 2003 are backyard kids. So to have 60% of the league play in any given game when it comes to backyard baseball, that's what we used to see all the time, right? I mean, before we had Backyard Baseball 2003, this was the mainstay backyard sport of baseball. Billie Jean, a 3-pitch strikeout to Loanne.
Okay, that'll bring up Marky to voice.
No problem there as Marky comes up. Billie Jean and Marky usually wanting to be on the same team as Billie Jean, so that could be a reason why Billie Jean's starting at the mound, but we'll see about it. That's a left hook and a miss there by Marky.
Got him with the left hook.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, you talk about backyard baseball, some teams obviously got cut for Backyard Baseball 2001 2003, right? The Giants,
Thinking of it on the mound. Great idea to
they got cut a few times because, there's a football Giants in Backyard Football 2002, and there's a San Francisco Giants in Backyard Baseball, so you didn't see those come up. They only retained themselves back in all the backyard soccers.
Into the motion, throws it.
Left hook to Marky, and he will strike out. And Billie Jean, thus far, a great start to this one. 2 strikeouts in 7 pitches, but here's the man. The most well-known and marketable backyard kid in backyard sports. Pablo Sanchez up on the plate. Billie Jean's done a great job thus far, but will she subside Pablo here? It's going to be a very interesting thing defensively for the All-Stars here. Pablo, big hit to left field.
Way to go, kid.
Gradson's going to run to this one, and she does not really have an arm. Ricky picks it up. He's going to wait to get to third, Billie Jean, but Pablo there with a triple. A very fitting first hit for Pablo there. The All-Stars, you can tell already, are going to have issues in the outfield. Gretchen doesn't have a great arm. Angela is not a fielder at all, really. Billie Jean, the elevator, going above. Well, whenever you have Pablo on the mound, even if, or rather, on the plate, or on base, excuse me, it's as if you're in a jam, whether or not he's on first, second, or third base.
Target goes up, throws it.
And Billie Jean right now not seeming to want to pitch to Dimitri here, but he swings at a bad pitch ahead, 2-0.
Here's the motion, throws it.
There's a heat that's grounded.
Bouncing ball.
Billie Jean's got to get there.
Play for her. Fires across
She
the first.
doesn't.
Safe on first.
Pete
Tosses
gets it.
home.
Pete
They
throws
go
back to
base.
first though,
Sings it on home.
and that's going to be a single for Dimitri. That'll extend the inning. Jorge is next up. He can belt it, but
From the windup,
he's
and
not
delivers. The wing
all that great
strike
at
one.
getting contact, as you see there. Runners at the corners here with 2 outs.
She is ready and delivers.
There's a slow ball and
Another
missed
strike.
it.
Surprised them with a
Swung
slow
at the
ball.
right time,
He tried
basically.
to outfox this hitter with an off-speed pitch.
Runners at the corners, 2 outs.
1 pitch away from getting out of the jam for Billie Jean.
The delivery.
There's a slow ball and missed it.
Got another one.
Jorge
It's a
strikes
one-way
out Billie
ticket
Jean.
back to
All
the
3
dugout.
outs in this inning are
Doing
strikeouts.
the job, you know.
Took 16, but
2
didn't
left
allow
on.
a hit. Oh.
Here's Sydney Weber, ready to wow the crowd.
Little Smoky Sid pitches a great heat and has the stamina to keep throwing them.
First in line, Gretchen Hasselhoff.
Sydney to start off. Or on the mound, rather. Gretchen is going
Here's the
to
motion and the delivery. Strike one, and the
Go
count
on.
is 0-1. She is ready. She delivers. The wing.
That's a grounder. Jorge will
Watch your
pick this
kneecaps on
up
this
and
thing.
wrangle it to first. Gretchen, though, does get there. As you see there, Ashley and Sydney are on the same team. What a first game back, huh?
Angela Del Vecchio coming up to the plate.
This kid wants a piece of that ball.
Angela
He's
is
gonna
next.
snap this
She
one,
can
sure.
hit one out of the park for sure. So you've got Billie Jean and Sydney. There are no
She
backgrounds.
delivers.
Usually in
You there, miss.
01 and 03 you have
Runner on first
orange,
with
green,
nobody out.
and blue backgrounds to signify how the
Into
players
the
are
windup
for the
and
day.
delivery.
You can kind of imply it with both pitchers, Sydney and
It doesn't
Ashley
shake her
on
up.
the same team,
the
Billie
break.
Jean and Marky on separate teams. Gretchen
And the slide.
is out.
And it's an
Lisa
out. What a
just
blow.
got
She gave it her best shot,
the
though.
tag prior to her getting her foot on.
You there, miss.
Lisa may not seem quick, but
Cut to the
she's
plate.
got the touch there. This one is well out.
Ball
And the
one.
ball.
1 and 2.
Count 1 and 2 to Angela.
Here's the windup. Throws it.
And this one is a ball as well. Billie Jean had 2 outs by the time she had her 7th pitch. So Sydney's 7. This one's grounded though.
Bouncing ball.
That little blooper.
Sydney
put 'em
will
running.
raffle it to first. And Ashley
Ooh, that's
made
not
the
what we're
connection.
looking
Keisha Phillips, turn it back.
Keisha next up. She's the threat. The lineup for the All-Stars here, as we saw with Pablo just a bit ago. This one's a grounder at Ashley.
Ground ball up the
Oh,
first
no,
base
she
line.
won't get it unassisted.
Slow roller.
That's a single
Scrambling.
for Keisha.
Here's a single.
Looked like a routine play there, but not gonna get
This kid has stolen so many
the out
bases.
there.
He
Ricky,
was
though,
out
contrast, he
almost
is
like an angel.
not a very good hitter by any means of the imagination.
Target goes up. She delivers.
Strike.
One.
That one got by him.
Runner on first. 2 out. Into the windup.
If
and
I
delivers.
would guess, I would believe that the Hornets are going to get out of this inning. I don't think so too. Ricky, I mean, once he can get it off, he's a good base runner, but
Foul ball.
not
And the count is 0 and 2.
by any means great contact-wise. Sydney hit a 7 pitch.
Into the motion.
No,
Pitch
she
on the
didn't.
way.
That second out, she
Strike
hit 7
three.
pitches.
She goes down on
Ricky,
strike.
though, goes down.
Can't get him every time.
Only 1 strikeout in the first inning for Sydney,
And
but
that'll do it in the
it's
first inning.
0-0.
Left one on
Lisa's
first.
at bat. Amir's on deck. Ashley is in the hole.
This girl's a scrapper. Look at that.
So far for
determination.
Billie Jean, all 3 of her outs are strikeouts. Lisa is up. She's not great at contact either, but we'll see what she can do with that skinny bat there. This one's a slow-mo. That'll go right
It
past
was
for a
in
strike.
there like swimwear.
Folks, I gotta tell you, that was
You
one
might want to watch out with
slow-mo
these
pitch.
I
power-ups,
haven't
really.
seen a ball that slow in all my
I think she's
3
pitched
years of
3 of them
baseball.
thus far, but still kind of tame, but that can be an issue when you have strikeouts early.
That was ball 1. 1 and 1.
Pitching longevity in this league really is based more on fielding than it is with
Takes her
how many
stretch,
strikeouts
and
you
the
get. But
offering.
the more strikeouts you get, the
Ball
more
2, and the count is 2 and
you'll
1.
want to use those power-ups that may drain you off the mound.
Take a swing
like nothing.
Into the windup.
Count 2-1 for Lisa, and Billie Jean
Ball
again,
3,
same
3
place
and
nearly,
1.
and a 3-1 count.
She is ready. 3-1 pitch.
This one is a heat grounder. Jacinda will dive for it, gets it, and is able to
Out.
get the first out unassisted.
This kid thinks this is a
Amir, next up,
Swing.
playing catcher in this
Into the
one.
motion. Cuts to the plate. That was a ball.
It's been too long since that ump had his eyes checked.
Difference,
1 out.
big one for Backyard Baseball compared to Backyard Baseball 2001 and
The
2003.
stretch. Fires.
Yells that the strike zones are much larger.
A bouncing ball.
This one a grounder, the third,
Fires
Ricky,
across the
Billie
first.
Jean,
She fires at the first. Got it out.
and she
Here
got
comes
him.
Ashley Weber.
Little Smokey Ash is in
See what I
great
thought
shape
there.
from all that tennis conditioning.
Yeah, the strike zones are a lot larger, so it's a lot easier for the pitchers to get it in the zone,
From the windup and the throw.
especially for smaller players like Luann and Ronnie. For example, in 01 and 03, their strike zones are very small,
Takes the stretch and the throw.
also very low in backyard baseball as well, so it can be an issue for taller players as well to try to reach down to get some of those strikes.
She is ready and delivered. Ball 3.
Couple of low ones for Billie Jean. It's 3-0. You don't want to put Ashley on the
Into the windup. Here's the pitch. That was a ball. Forced to walk.
Contestant
on
number
base,
1,
rather,
come
and,
on down.
she will. It's a
You just won yourself a
4-pitch
free
walk
trip to first base.
for Ashley.
Sydney Weber.
Now here's
steps up to
Sydney.
the plate.
Seems like little Smokey Sid can play all day and never get tired.
Billie Jean with the walk.
Ball 1. Runner
That's
on
the
first.
5th
2 out.
straight ball.
Let's see some action or something. The windup. She delivers.
This one down the middle. This one's hit huge! And Sydney's gonna knock this one out. That's a 2-run home run. Little Smokey sibling smash right there as the Hornets get on board. It's a 2-0 lead already, and while you may have or not have
That's a run.
orange backgrounds in backyard baseball, 97 now, you know when you've got both of those guys on the same team, you know what's going to happen. Sydney just belted that home run, a 2-0 lead as she and her sister score. Back to the top of the lineup right now. Hornets lead 2-0.
That was ball 1.
Swing, batter, batter. Swing, batter, batter.
Luann
Takes the
struck
stretch
out in
and
the
throw.
first inning.
Broken landing. Swung
This
on.
one's a foul.
Whoop. Slide. 2 out.
Also, this game can be a bit longer as well because there's not a lot of.
Here's the windup and
There's an
the
extra
delivery.
delay after each pitch, each swing, really, each foul. So
Let's see some action.
some of the 01 and 03 games
Takes the
felt like
stretch and the
it's very
delivery.
quick. classic backer, that's going to take a while.
A bouncing ball.
Billie Jean
Up with it.
took a while to
Safe.
sling that one. Luann's able to get the single.
Okay, that'll bring up Marky to point.
Two things you can say for Cootie. He can play all day and
But
barely lose
Marky
his
is up,
cool.
and you can figure, especially as Sydney hit that home run, Marky may not really have much power when it comes to this one. That's a ball. Count 1-0 for
From the
Marky.
windup, throws it.
Okay, I'm rooting for the other team.
Take a swing.
slow-mo. And Billie Jean,
Ball two.
it really hasn't seemed like she's thrown in the strike zone all that often in this inning.
Takes the stretch. And the offering.
When she has, it's been a problem.
The swing. Strike
Gotta
one.
strike that
Here's a
time.
good time for a slow ball.
Lefty.
Batter's
At this point, once you start getting to a 20-pitch inning, you really want to
I'm rooting for the
get out of the inning by any means necessary.
Ready
You
now.
want
Throws
to
it.
throw it over the plate here.
The swing.
Missed it.
Another
Count
strike.
2-2.
Strong left hook.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, if I'm
kid.
Billie Jean, just throw this one in the strike zone. It doesn't really matter. Even if he hits it, he shouldn't
can't score.
belt it that far. It should be an easy play at first.
Swung on.
Swung late. Marky striking out. Billie Jean's fourth, a 21-pitch inning, a 2-0 Hornets
Left
lead.
on first.
As the All-Stars have Kimmy at bat, Jacinda on deck,
Ekman steps in.
and Annie in the hole.
Watch out. Here comes trouble.
For the All-Stars, they're going to have some offense here because they don't have a lot in the outfield.
That was a ball. 1-0.
Now, if this was 0-1 and 0-3, then this would probably be, I
Takes
mean,
the stretch.
there's not
And
been
the
a lot of hits
offering.
out there, but
A swing.
this would be a blowout.
Strike one.
You know, it's
Swing better, better.
the skill gap in 0-1 and 0-3 with even the backyard kids
Reset. The
from best to
1-1 hit.
worst in attributes is pretty large, but it's
A
more
bouncing ball.
condensed.
That little blooper
Backyard
set him
baseball.
running.
But either way, the
And
All-Stars are going to need some offense because
Shake you up.
having Gretchen and Angela
Keep their cool.
in the outfield
Jocinda's
is
hit comes to bat.
such a handicap.
Time for a home run.
There's not a lot of speed on this team either. I mean, Jacinda is going to
Into the windup.
give you
Here's
hits.
the
She
pitch.
rarely strikes out.
Swing.
But
Strike one.
even if she were to get on base, it'd be tough.
We want a batter.
Yeah, I mean, Keisha's the main source of power on this team, so at some point,
That was ball one.
you know, you've got to get some offense around her. But the All-Stars, you know, that 2-run home run, they can't afford to give up too many runs because they don't really have a lot of playmaking power on this team. It's a nice hit, but Lisa's right there, and oh, Ashley flubs that one, and Jacinda, as a result, is able to get the single.
I'm looking
That's
for a kind hit here, pitcher.
Basically an error right there. Should have been a routine play. Annie's now next up for the All-Stars. This one's grounded.
A bouncing ball.
That little
Jorge
blooper set
to
him running.
second.
And
Pablo's got him.
out.
Annie, though, is able to get the first. Is Ashley again. Not able to get the catch.
Wheeler steps in.
This young batter means business.
Well, I guess we say there's no playmaking until Pete comes up. He's
I'm
He's
gonna
the
hit
guy.
a touchdown.
only issue is he's batting ninth.
She's set.
Annie, though, is a good base runner, so
Swung on.
she won't slow him down.
Chopper to third.
That was a slow roller.
Pablo to second, and Lisa is there, but Annie's able to get there first. Now 2-1, 2 out
Next
for
batter,
Billie Jean.
Blackman.
Trying to get something for the team.
Well, we are talking basically an orange background here, so Billie Jean's going to have to get a big hit here. Preferably maybe in center.
And the offering.
Challenge Luann if
Ball
she
one.
can.
Runners on first and second. 2 out.
Again, there's not a lot of power on this team besides
From the
Keisha
windup
and
and
Pete.
delivered.
But with Billie
Ball two,
Jean
2-0.
pitching against a team with Markey on it, you would think she's got some power in this game.
The windup and the delivery.
Sydney not seeming like she wants to pitch to Billie Jean here. It's a 3-0 count.
From the stretch and the offering.
This one is a strike, just slightly in. This one's in as well.
Swinging.
This one is grounded. There's no one at second. But
Good one.
Billie Jean, not having the speed, Ashley,
And that'll close
for the
up
first
second.
time,
Two left on.
gets a catch
The
at
outsides
first.
are being stomped.
And 2 are left on. It's a 2-0 lead. Well, the good news there is that the All-Stars at least did show they can get hits. I mean, they have more hits than the Hornets have right now. It's just that the Hornets have kind of a better
Here's the
lineup,
windup and the delivery.
makeup, right? Because,
That was a ball. No out.
you know, having Pete at 9th,
Sorry. Swing, man.
or 9 in the order, is
Here's the
kind of
motion.
silly.
Fire. Strike one.
Fancy
But
pitch.
you've got to get
Really
out
shake
of
things
this
up.
part of the lineup for sure, but you also can't underestimate an Ashley and Sydney for sure, but
Here's the pitch.
I suppose as Sydney wears down
2-1.
by pitching as the game goes on, maybe she'll be less of a threat.
Takes their stretch.
Ashley and Sydney are the only 2 runs in this game thus far, as Pablo takes a 3rd ball, and Billie Jean, take a look at the stat sheet, she's pitched a lot of balls thus far.
Swing.
Pablo whiffing on that one.
Slow pitch.
Full count.
That kid's thinking out there on the mound. Great idea to throw the off-speed pitch.
3-2 count.
Can't hit a touchdown.
Billie Jean looking to take down the secret weapon, and she will not.
Ooh, that's not what we're looking for.
And Pablo on base at the top of the inning, or at the start of the inning, is not where you want to start things.
Back.
Dimitri's a pretty good hitter and runner, but he gets tired easily.
You kind of have to look, Yale, to
And
them going to center field at some point finally.
high and outside.
It's been too long since that ump had his eyes checked.
There he goes.
Pablo to steal.
Tosses it over to
Pete
second.
smacks it down!
Safe at second. Goes for the tag.
And Annie
Not in time.
got it, but Pablo got there. That was a saucer from Pete
Target
there.
goes up. Cuts to the plate.
Dimitri changing his stance. This one's lined! And it gets to right field.
First baseline. And
Keisha.
grabs it. Safe. Sings it to first.
Jacinda gets it at first. Pablo, surprisingly, will hold it third.
Here comes Jorge Garcia.
Jorge's eyesight is terrible, which means
I don't think he would have gotten home, though.
Catch.
So now it's 2 on, no out. This is the exact same
And
jam
delivery.
that Billie Jean was in the first inning. This one, though, is straight to
Ball.
Billie
Picture
Jean.
makes the catch.
Pete
Puts
to
it on home. Fires
first.
across to first.
And Pete made the wrong play, as you would think. Jorge gets home, and Pablo is smart there
This
to
young
get off
batter
of
eats
third.
left hooks for breakfast.
Otherwise, Billie Jean would have thrown to first. That would have been the guaranteed out, but she made the right play to go home. But it's just that Pete is not very cerebral.
And it was the Heat.
Man,
And instead of
that
throwing to
was so
third, he
fast.
throws to
You could
first.
barely
And
see it.
3 on.
Jorge gets
with
there, so
nobody
now
out.
it's full, or
Ready
bases
now,
loaded,
and
rather.
the throw.
And no outs.
Low ball 1. And the count is
Yeah,
1-1.
and the pitch count for Billie Jean is ridiculously high right now.
She kicks. Pitch on the way. High and outside.
That's a ball.
Okay, I'm rooting for the other team.
Count 2-1.
Here's the
Talisa.
lineup. Cuts to the plate.
Pablo, Dimitri, and Jorge are on base, and now you can't have another ball here.
The strategy.
Billie Jean
3-1 pitch.
pitching. This one's in.
The wing.
Strike 2.
Strike 2. Swing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse to pitch a ball here. To pitch outside.
Stretch. The 3-2 pitch.
It's a heat. Got her.
3. Another one down.
5th strikeout for Billie Jean.
Amir Khan.
As Amir's up, he's 0 for 1. And this is really a nightmare for the All-Stars because
He is ready.
if this is a
Here's the
pop
pitch.
fly, you don't know if this is going to be caught.
Strike 1.
Swing, batter,
Tries to
batter.
steal. Straight to third.
Ricky throws home!
To home plate.
Got him!
Out of there.
And into the
Got
inning!
him on a double play.
Wait.
And a gamble by the Hornets ends up failing.
The All-Stars behind
Gretchen had a bad Angela on deck, Keisha in the hole. That was something that you do not see in 0103. Dimitri looking to steal third to get Pablo off of third. You know, you're sacrificing the runner there, but you wouldn't expect that Ricky would have the arm to throw home, and the ball got there early. And that is an unlikely jam gotten out of by the All-Stars with one out with the bases loaded with Pablo on third base. With two great base runners as Gretchen strikes out in 3 pitches. She did single though in the first inning, but to lead off. But she's out here. Angela.
Pressure's on. Nobody's.
She is 0 for 1.
I'm gonna smack this one for sure.
She's got the power on this team, but gotta see it.
The wind up, the pitch. The wing.
And a late swing strike on that one.
May I remind you that the primary objective is
From the stretch and the offering.
We want a batter, not a
That was ball 1. 1-1.
Missing on that one.
Hey, batter, batter, batter.
Count 1-1 for
1-1 pitch.
Angela here. A left hook. This one's hits.
Round to
Pablo able
That little
to
blue
handle
and
it.
I'm running.
And Ashley's there at first.
What a bummer. She gave it her best shot, though.
Go, Pink.
Keisha Phillips, turn it back.
Baseball been very, very good to me.
Great fielding play there by Pablo at short. Oof, jeez.
2 out.
And Sydney pulls off the fireball there. Let's see how much she has. It's the first power, I believe, that she's pitched thus far. That's a strike.
Another strike. 0-2. The stretch
Count
and
0-2.
the offering.
And
Swung
Sydney
early.
not messing with Keisha on that one. 3-pitch strikeout for the second time.
The All-Stars behind.
Amir at bat,
The All-Stars
Ashley on
got a little
deck,
time
Sydney in the hole.
Amir Khan walks up to the plate. From the windup, the delivery. Ball 1. Take a swing, why don't ya?
So ball there.
From the windup, here's the pitch.
Ball
Ball
2.
2.
That one was just a bit
It's just
wide.
been ball after ball for Billie Jean in this one. Before we end the game and look at the stat line, it's just going to be wild to see how many balls. And look at this! This one's a big one! I don't think it's enough. Gretchen is not in line for it.
Jumping in the air.
And it's a ground rule
And
double.
that one bounces over for a ground rule double.
That one was a high and far hit, but wasn't far enough.
Here comes Ashley.
But it is enough to bounce over, and that's the issue.
All that tennis conditioning.
That's the issue. That's going to happen. If not now. I mean, it did just happen now, but later in this game for the All-Stars, there's not a lot. And Ashley now belts this one,
She's under.
and Angela's going to let this one go. That's a home run, and now the Weber twins have each hit a home run. I don't think that's ever happened in any backyard baseball game I've ever seen. Sydney hits a home run in the second inning. Ashley hits one in the fourth. And who would have thunk they both hit 2-run home runs. And it's 4-0 Hornets. Wow.
Sydney Weber steps up to the plate.
All that tennis has developed little Smoky Sid's eye, so she's a pretty good
Well, if you didn't think there were actually hidden backgrounds in this game, you're
From the
mistaken.
windup and delivers. Strike 1. Nobody out.
If it weren't for the Weber twins, this game would probably be scoreless still.
The pitch.
Billie Jean has been in 2 jams in this game. Both brought on really by Pablo, but
From the
they're
windup,
able to get out
the
both of
delivery.
them. She was.
Swinging.
This one's grounded.
Bouncing ball. Lays out.
Billie Jean lays out for it, gets it. Jacinda will easily get that one.
Now it's Luann Louise's turn.
It's
This kid
4-0 Hornets. the top 4.
Swing, batter, batter.
What's up, Doc? Here's the windup. The delivery. Not some broken land.
That's slow-mo.
Ball 1, 1 out.
So, Tim, who do you think right now the fault is for this 4-0 deficit?
Takes the stretch. The pitch.
I mean, it could be a lot worse. Look at this! Luann with a huge hit. Angela doesn't get it.
She didn't get it.
A rare smacker from Luann.
There are moments
Again,
of
you don't
glory.
see this in 01 and 03, really. Again, the skill gap when it comes to
Okay.
especially power hits is pretty wide, but in the original Backyard Baseball, sometimes you do see some of these players who you wouldn't expect to have
Kimmy has decent arm strength and throwing accuracy.
big hits. Once in a
I've
while,
seen
they
her
do belt one.
slow-mo, and it's pretty fierce.
She kicks.
So Billie Jean just 63, 64 pitches there, pitched 3 1/3, allows 4 runs all earned. Billie Jean will go to second base. This is a bunt.
There's a bunt.
Go team.
Pete to first, and he'll get the
And over to third.
guaranteed out. Ricky to, actually I didn't even throw the ball.
Let's go.
Luann will hold at second.
Pablo Sanchez.
Now
steps
Pablo's
in.
back.
Secret weapon? Oh, no. Ready to
This
fill
is
one out
Pablo's
of
3rd plate appearance. This is the 4th inning.
Ready now. The delivery. Strike 1. Slow left hook.
Batter's
So
gotta
this
have a
is
good
Kimmy's
eye.
field,
Smack
so
one of those babies.
They have a runner on second. 2
I'd
out.
expect her to pitch pretty well here.
From the windup and delivered. The wing.
It's another bunt.
There's a bunt.
Kimmy
And she
to
grabs it.
first. Doesn't get there, just into the third.
Go. Orange.
And Ricky, well, he's that kind of guy.
No, she dropped
He's
it.
that kind of
Bet
guy.
you that was a spitball, and it was slippery.
Dmitri Petrovich
So
comes
Ricky
back.
does not, or Luann almost fell into Ricky. That would have been an out, but Ricky doesn't. I'm not even sure if opts is the right word, but
She is
doesn't
ready
throw the
and
ball.
delivered.
And
That
that
was
may
ball
be
one. Runners on first and
something
second.
that
2
may
out.
cost them in this inning.
Ready now. The pitch. Swing. Fouled
This
one
one's a
back.
foul.
And the count is 1-1.
Why don't ya?
Takes the stretch. Throws it. Swing.
This one's hit well. That's in the outfield, and that's gonna be a long chase for Angela. Luann's gonna score. Pablo's
And
definitely
she
gonna
grabs
score.
it. Straight to home plate.
We'll
They
see about
score.
Dimitri. Billie Jean having to lug herself up
Great
there.
field to run.
Able to get the arm strength there to Kimmy. Kimmy throws home, and
That's it.
Pete
Out.
does
Shut them down.
get him out, but not
Halfway
before
through the inning now.
the base runners, Luann and Pablo, get in.
The All-Stars are a little
It's 6-0 Hornets.
Ricky Justin coming up to the plate.
This young batter means business.
Well,
Okay. I'm gonna hit this one.
again, this is the first Backyard Baseball 97 game, if you will, and
That was ball 1 with no
however long you may remember, but this Tim does not seem like
into the
this will be a game worth remembering, I guess. No.
Strike 1.
Again, the All-Stars,
That one go.
just their fielding makeup was a disaster really from the
Ready
beginning,
now,
to be honest
and
with
the
you.
delivery.
There really wasn't.
Swing.
I mean, it's the
Strike
4th inning.
2. And the count is 1
But-
and 2.
The way the team was constructed really just never really
Target goes up.
was
The delivery.
conducive to
The
winning
swing,
this
and that's
game.
strike 3. That's it for this kid.
Can't win 'em all.
You know, everything really not working. The order of the batters, the fielding positions of the players, you know, it's just not
Watch out. Here
good at
comes
all really.
trouble.
And the players that would have an impact,
From the windup,
Billie
the
Jean,
pitch.
especially with Markey on the other team,
Swinging.
right,
Strike
was the
1.
starting pitcher
And the count is 0 and 1.
instead of someone like Angela, let's say. And now you've got Kimmy, who is someone who probably make an impact as well, since she's playing at her home field. You know, she's now pitching, so it's not at all a good situation. That's a big hit. Loana's not in line for that one, and it is a ground rule double.
That'd be a ground rule double.
So that at least helps the All-Stars.
I think this young hitter can get the job done.
Watch this. Home run.
We'll see,
From the windup, she delivered.
this one's straight down the middle.
Strike one.
Jacinda takes that one for a strike.
From the stretch, throws it. Swing.
This one is hit
Ground
to
ball
Ashley.
up the first baseline.
Ashley does throw to third. That one's rifled. Throws back to second.
And that's an out.
And Jacinda is on. And you kind of saw
And Frazier steps in,
what
ready for
Kimmy was
action.
trying to do there.
It's a piece of that ball.
Because there was a delay of her coming off the bag there. But
Here's the motion and the throw.
Ashley has the arm.
A bouncing ball.
Grounder, easy play. Sydney laying out, fielder's choice right here. Throws to second.
All you can do
And
is
Pablo's
try your
there.
hardest.
And that'll
And
end
this inning is
fourth
over.
inning.
One left on. The All-Stars behind.
Not the most stellar performance we've ever seen out of these young athletes. Speaking of spitballs, I remember one All-Stars game 2 seasons ago. This kid, Freddie Jackson, threw a spitball that went wild and hit the batter. The batter dropped the bat and cried all the way home. Not because it hurt, he was just mad that he was covered in spit.
Who was talking about spitballs?
Nobody. I just wanted to tell the story.
Here comes Jorge Garcia.
Probably haven't heard an All-Stars story there from Vinny the Goose in a long time, huh? No. No. You need to get we need to get a Giant story, honestly.
Swing.
This one gets past Kimmy and past Annie. Annie with a quick throw and does get to Jacinda. First out. Lisa's next. 0 for 2 strikeout. So it is 6-0ing. Sydney has pitched
That was a shame idea
4
for the breaker coming next. I bet you
scoreless
so.
innings thus far. How far do you think that'll go, Tim?
From the windup, the pitch.
Just for really no reason,
Another
I
strike.
think. Let's just say 8.
The windup. Here's the pitch.
Go team.
Ball
Balls
one.
well.
And the count is 1 and 2.
Not some broken ladder, you know.
I'm not really sure who the GM of the All-Stars is, but
From the windup and the delivery.
the way that team was constructed is not very good on offense or defense, really.
Lots of room.
Angela gonna lug her way down here. She'll need help throwing this ball back. She'll pick it up as Lisa rounds
Third.
second. Annie's gonna have to come in for this one. She'll have to get this ball. Annie throws. Pete's gonna run to it. He does get it. He runs back, and Lisa will run into her.
Straight to first.
And then Pete throws to first for no reason. So Lisa, very rare in any backyard sport or any backyard baseball version for her to get a home run. That was about to be her way to get a home run, but not done there, and it's still a 6-0 Hornet lead.
Ready now. And the pitch. Strike one.
Look at that one.
Left hook.
I used to have quite a left hook myself. Of course, that was before the war.
What are you talking about? What's war?
I don't know. I just thought it sounded cool.
And the count is 1 and 1. The stretch. The 1-1 pitch.
It's a
Ball
heat,
two.
a bit too
And
high.
The count is 2 and 1.
I guess the strat is to throw in nearly the same spot for 2 pitches in a row and then
Strike
move
two.
it over.
Gave
Because
him the
Kimmy
right
and
hook.
Billie Jean are both doing the same thing.
Great eye to smack one of those.
I'm not really
2 and 2.
understanding the strategy here for the All-Stars. It doesn't really make any sense.
Swinging.
This one hit well lifted. Gretchen does pick it up. Annie. Jacinda gets it, trying to chase after Amir. Billie Jean gets him.
That'll bring our team up to bat. Halfway through the inning now.
Pete at bat. Billie Jean on deck. Gretchen in the hole. Sydney thus far. 4 scoreless innings. Has pitched 11 pitches per inning.
What am I supposed to do again?
And it has been Weber twin domination
That
in
one
this
got
one.
by him.
Nobody out.
Really no issue at all.
Takes their stretch and the throw. That was ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say is that one thing that the 01 and 03 backyard baseball games do take away is
Another strike.
some of these backyard kids synergies here. I mean, you know, there are so many pros in 01 and 03 that play shortstop
Target goes up.
that you never see Stephanie play shortstop in either game.
And the count is 2-2.
You know, she'll usually be catcher at that situation, but you know, Ashley or Sydney, whenever they field, they rarely play first base.
Just a bit
It's not really a position that they play often. I mean, they're both good at it.
Ready now. The pitch.
Ashley a bit of flubs, but you know,
It's going to left
you don't
field.
see some of it.
And it's a foul
But also at
ball.
the same time, you see some of these,
No out.
you know, choices where you've got Angela in center field, which makes no
A
sense,
3-2 pitch.
and Luann at center field doesn't
The
make
right
a lot of
break
sense
goes down on strikes.
in some way,
Now,
but you do see a lot of variability
Next
there.
batter, Billie Jean Blackman.
this kid has a piece of that ball.
Pete strikes out, and yeah, it's a 7th pitch at bat there. But yeah, I mean, in backyard baseball 0103, but especially 01, I mean, you don't see a lot of high-scoring games. I mean, the fielding for the pros in that game is very good. In 03, it's more geared towards hitters, even though the pros in 01 have, you know, great hitters as well, but I think there are better hitters in 03, so, you know, there can be a lot of high-scoring games in baseball 03, but 01, oh, you see that. This one gets past Luann. She'll run to it. Billie Jean
Let's go.
is going to come off. Someone's going to have to get into the outfield there. Lisa gets it. And Pablo is there. It's a double for Billie Jean.
Gretchen Hasselhoff stepping up to the plate.
She, though, is still recovering from getting pulled off the mound in the 4th inning, so she's not going to be a good base runner. That was a good hit, but
Pitch on the way.
I don't think it serves all that much, and Gretchen's not a great hitter either, so
Runner on second, 1 out.
you'll wonder, what do you see here?
Takes their stretch and the pitch. Swung on.
Strike 2.
Strike 2. From the windup, throws it. Ball 1, 1 and 2. Takes the stretch.
Count 1 and
the
2.
delivery.
Gretchen
Third
strikes out.
strike. That's it.
You can't get him every time.
Second straight strikeout for Gretchen, and now we have Angela up.
The kind of hitter she is, digging in and determined every time. I'm gonna smack this one for sure.
Now, again, this is where the power is. You got 1 on, 1 out.
Delivery.
You're going to need a big hit by someone at some point.
Foul ball.
Because Angela does hit that
0-1.
one, but it is a foul. Sydney's been pumping up the power-ups
Ready now
a
and
bit
deliver.
more in this inning.
A swing.
And a miss
Strike
there.
2.
Count 0-2.
And the count is 0-2.
We want a batter. Not a broken ladder.
Into the windup. Here's the pitch. Swung
Strike
on.
3. Sydney getting Angela. She's now 0 for 3. That's her 7th strikeout.
And this inning
And
is over. Left
5
second. The All-Stars are
scoreless
being
innings
stomped.
pitched by Sydney now. Her sister Ashley at bat. Sydney's on deck. Loanne's in the hole.
Smokey Ash was in great shape from all that tennis conditioning.
From the stretch, and the offering. Swing!
Missing on that one.
One.
A fancy pitch.
Ashley
Really
is
shake
1
things up.
for 1 at the home run.
That pitch is a tough one for a batter
She hit the
to
home
do
run in the
anything on.
4th.
And the count is 0-1.
She walked
From the
believe in
windup,
the
and
second.
the pitch. Not some broken landing, no. Strike 2. Surprise them
Swinging a
with
bad
ball.
pitch there,
Keep
and
thinking out there on the
Weber
mound.
twins usually
Great idea to throw
don't
the
swing at
off-speed pitch.
pitches that would be balls.
Takes the stretch, cuts to the plate.
This one down the middle.
Swinging. A bouncing ball.
Annie will let this one come to her,
It's a short.
but
Throws
should
it
have
over to first.
gone for it.
Saves it first.
Second hit for
Looks like
Ashley.
he dropped the ball.
Oh,
Let's
that's
go.
just
And now
embarrassing.
Sydney will come up.
Weber steps up to the plate.
Little Smoky Sid is a strong
Both
player.
Weber twins
But
with the
on
home
her
run.
sister's team, we're talking power
Action
twins.
or something. Oh, she is ready. And the offering.
Heat.
Swing.
The foul.
And a foul ball. Swing. Takes the stretch. And the offering. A swing.
This one a grounder. This one's to Kimmy. But she can't handle the ball.
Straight down the
Kimmy
middle.
throws to
Check the
first,
third.
and
That's
Sydney is
out.
out. As you can tell, the fatigue they're setting in.
Now,
From pitching.
Natalie's turn.
That's the kind of
So
player
Ashley
that's
advances to
making you
second,
determined every time.
and Sydney is out. Loanne back to the top of the lineup. She's 2 for 3, 2 singles. She struck out to lead off, but 2 singles since then.
Swing! She kicks, throws it. Strike 1. That was a left hook.
Yeah, I mean,
Great eye.
if the league wanted to
Not
rig
one
this,
of
to be
those
honest with
big
you, they probably should have just redone the rosters, because
Ready
you
now.
just look at the
One,
All-Stars.
pitch.
Again, a lot of
Swing.
disjoint talent in
Ground ball
the
up the
lineup
first
there.
baseline.
Keisha
For her.
rifles at the third and gets Loanne out.
Over to third.
Jacinda able to handle that one.
Dropped it.
I think she's having
Ashley,
a
though,
rough
does advance to third.
A Markey.
And now Marky's up.
Hitting to first seems to be an uphill battle for this young hitter.
I think if you're the Hornets, you might want to just fake Ashley to steal home and see if it works. So I'm not really sure you're going to get very much out of Marky in this
Runner
one.
on third, 2 out.
You know, he's usually not great with batting, but in a game like this,
Takes her stretch.
in
Fired.
specificity,
Swing.
you're not going to get very much out of him.
It was in there.
0-2.
Count 0-2.
Here's the windup and delivered. The swing.
And he bunts for a strikeout. Third one for Mark. He's 0 for 4.
Left one on third. The all
Keisha at bat, Ricky on deck,
The
Kimmy in the
All-Stars
hole.
are dimming rapidly out there.
Keisha Phillips, turn it back.
Keisha next up. Last time she was up in the 4th. 3-pitch strikeout, including a fireball pitched.
Swing.
And this one's a
It's
spitball.
going up the right field
This is
line.
going to be a foul.
Foul ball. Let's go.
Amir does not get the catch. That would have been an out.
Nobody out.
So, luckily, Keisha's able to get back on
Swung on.
plate, and she'll
Another strike.
miss the bunt.
Hope this doesn't
And it's
shake
0-2.
her.
0-2. The stretch and the offering. Swing.
This one is hit,
A bouncing ball.
and it gets past Ashley.
Slow roller. Send him
And that's a good start for the All-Stars. A single for Keisha.
Ricky Judson coming up to the plate.
You've got a decently favorable lineup right here, right? You've got Keisha on.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this
If
one.
Ricky can
Okay.
at least hit this, it should be guaranteed Keisha will get to second base. If he gets on base, it's a bonus.
Swung
And then you
early.
can get 2 on
with
with
nobody out.
Kimmy on, who has been conservative when it comes to the power-ups in this
Swung
one.
on. Another strike.
Ricky, though, has to make contact first. That's the problem.
She's set.
And will she? Will he, rather, is the question. He will not. Strikeout. Ricky striking out in all 3 at-bats. He's been the victim 3 times out of Sydney's 8 strikeouts. Kimmy, 1 of 2 with a double. She's pitched since the 4th inning. As she swings late on that one. Count on 1.
From the stretch and delivers.
Here's a heat.
High ball 1. Attempts to steal.
And Keisha with no issue.
They have a runner on
Steals second.
1 out. Into the motion. The 1-1 pitch.
There's a heat.
Strike 2. Tries to
She's
steal.
gonna steal third.
Slides into
And she
third.
does.
Now, that's the
Oh, I know! No!
She's out of there.
Ooh, that's not
I don't know what happened there. It looked like she was in. It looked like she was in.
Statistically,
And that was a late call, too.
Pitch on the way.
I don't know if she got off of third,
Ball
but
2
it
out.
looked like she was on.
primary objective is
Well, I had the thought in my head to say that this is the best chance the All-Stars had of scoring since the first inning, until Keisha tried to steal third, and Kimmy strikes out Sydney's 9th, 6 scoreless
Good in the 6th inning.
for Sydney
The
Weber.
All-Stars are being stomped.
Things are looking pretty grim.
Pablo
for the
at bat,
dugout today.
Dimitri on deck, Jorge in the hole. Pablo is up
Power hit like
2
the
for
rest.
2, triple and single for him.
Into the motion. Throws it. Right one.
Well, you can make this as entertaining as a
That batter.
Gave him
6-0 game can be, I suppose, but I guess the game is turned into whether or not the All-Stars can even score a run, and Pablo, why not? Smacks at the left field, that's a home run! And the iconic music here in the original is here. 7-0 Hornets.
They just scored. Dmitry Petrovich of
Pablo with a home run right there. That is his 3rd hit of the game. He is a double away from the cycle, and at the rate the Hornets are going right now,
She delivers.
we may see him one more time in
Sliced it.
the 9th.
Nobody out.
Dimitri's had a good game as well. 2 of 3, 2 singles. It's a 7-0 Hornet lead. This is a zigzag. Is hit straight
Bouncing ball.
and past
Lifts it to short.
Kimmy,
Throws it over to first.
but Annie there to clean it up. That's an out. First one.
Jorge Garcia.
Jorge 1 of 3 with a single. And it's 7-0 Hornets in this one.
She kicks and delivers. Strike 1. Looked like a heater. It was
So Tim,
1 out.
right now if you have an MVP, who would you give it to?
She's set. Fire.
Well, you know, obviously Pablo would be the fan favorite here, but it's got to, you know, when it comes to it, obviously commercially, Pablo is by far and away the most recognizable backyard kid, but, you know, to be non-biased, I think it's got to be Sydney Weber right now. I mean, thus far, 6 scoreless innings, and she has a home run on offense as well. I mean, you really can't beat that. A couple of RBIs as well, right? Drove in her sister for the first 2 runs of the game. So I mean, it's clear it's Sydney Weber right now. Jorge does strike out.
Pitch on the way.
This is the lighter part of the lineup,
Here's Ricky Johnson.
as Kimmy will come off. after 3 2/3 innings.
Become center. Fire.
Her pitching rate much lesser than Billie Jean.
Snapper to third.
Lisa hits
Let's go.
the
And she grabs it.
big
Looks back to
freeze,
first.
and it's a single
Let's
for Lisa and a power-up.
Amir Khan walks up to the plate.
As if the Hornets needed anything more
He'll be a great player.
of an
one day.
advantage in this one.
Raw, raw.
Now they have a power-up.
And a throw.
Go team.
Ball one. Runner on first.
I'll
Two
say to my
out.
I almost forgot the name of that power-up there. I was trying to
Takes the
I was
stretch.
trying to
Cuts to the
put
plate.
the word ice into
Ball
it,
two.
but
2-0.
yeah, big freeze is what it was there. Count 2-0.
Becomes center. And the pitch.
Swing, bad
Swing. Strike one.
Yeah, and this
it
is,
was a lefty.
I mean,
Batter's gotta have a
kind of a disaster, really, because now,
2-1.
you know, you've got two of your players for the All-Stars who more or less, let's say, had an orange background.
And the count is 3-1.
They're now not going to be useful on offense at all. I mean, Billie Jean is recovering, but she's still,
From the
I would
windup,
think,
3-1 pitch.
still not going to be there.
High and inside. Forced to walk.
Happens to the best of them from time to time.
A 4-pitch walk by Ricky on Amir
Here
there.
comes Ashley Wetton.
Ashley next up, 2 for 2, home run and a single.
Can't score a goal.
Ready now. Fires. A swing. Strike
Late
one.
swing strike there,
Runners
count
on
0-1.
first and second. 2 out. From the windup and the delivery. Ball one.
Ball. Ricky's been pitching at the fringes in this one.
The target goes up. Cuts to the plate. The swing. Another
Early.
Strike.
Strike
Left
2.
hook.
Don't
You
try
can
this
tell
alone,
Ashley wants to
kid.
belt this one. She'll have to dig down though.
The stretch. He throws it.
Same area.
Swung on.
Swinging line drive to right field. Quiche is able to corral it though. Throws to second and out.
You hit that hard, let me tell ya.
And she goes after it.
That one
Over to second.
was
And
not
sends him
a
back to
really-
the dugout. That'll bring our
Not a lot of
team
chutzpah
back.
really on that screaming line drive. Didn't stay in the air all that often, all that much.
Win 'em all. And I
And
can't
Keith
help
able to
wishing
get
they
it.
would either.
Jacinda Smith.
Jacinda's at bat, and he's on deck for the bottom of the 7th inning. Sydney
The stretch.
has
and
pitched
the
now
delivery.
12 times per inning.
The swing.
This one is well hit. Pablo, though, is in line. Caught it, first out.
Annie Fraser steps in, ready for action.
Because
Annie is
that's
next.
part of
She's 1 for
peaceful
2
battle.
with a single.
Annie's not a very competitive player.
I'm looking for a kind hit here, pitcher.
We've got spirit.
She is ready. She delivers.
The primary objective is
Strike one.
Laid on that one for a strike. Sydney's had longevity when it comes to
not a broken ladder.
pitching outings in
That
01.
was a slow roller.
Sydney throws, and Ashley not able to get that one with her back turned to Ashley, or rather Annie, with her second hit.
Get the job done.
Pete's next. He struck out in the 5th.
What am I supposed to do again?
You got to think at some point
And the throw.
you'll see someone get a big hit here.
The swing. And the foul ball.
Well, every time you
Runner
see
on first, one
And
out.
Annie and Angela, Pete come up, and Keisha come up. That something will happen. Took that one. Gretton's on deck, so
And delivers.
watch out here.
The wing.
This one is hit high to left, and Jorge's not going to get there. Markey does
Goes for the
get it.
slide. The runner is safe on second.
And, well,
And he's out.
Ooh, that's
Pete.
what we're looking for.
Does Pete things. So Annie got to second base
Billie Jean has astounding accuracy.
very early.
Just keep
Pete,
it
though,
behind.
as we weren't watching
Now
that,
better. Stand
on the other
back.
side, Pete ends up going to second base and one of the two have to get tagged. Annie, though, I think, great decision to stay on second.
They have a runner on second, 2 out.
Yeah, you know, the mistakes that Pete makes,
From the windup,
you see it in 01 and 03, but
eyeball 2.
it's a lot more pronounced here. So yeah, it's a good decision for Annie
Into the
to
windup, fires.
you know, stay on second base there. There was really nowhere she
A
could have gone.
bouncing ball.
That little blooper sent him running.
It's a foul.
Runner on second, 2 out.
Sydney a few pitches away from getting out of the inning.
Set. The 2-1 pitch. Another
And she
strike.
took that one.
And the count is
That would have been a good one to swing at. And 0-2, or 2-2 rather.
Throws it.
There's a slow ball and bunts at this one. Billie Jean more or less has recovered her running speed.
Oops.
Oh, and Ashley misses that one.
Let's go, Pink.
This is like the 5th time in this game Ashley has failed to catch a ball at first base. It's the 2nd time that a catch would have led to an out.
And the offering. Strike 1. Runners on first and second, 2 out.
Still, though, in this situation, pretty unlikely
The
that
windup cuts to the plate.
they're going to get another hit here. This one's well hit, actually.
It's going up the right field
But
line.
it's gonna
and
drop.
It's foul. Looks like she tripped. Let's go, Pink. Let's go.
You wouldn't see that in the one.
Runners on first and second, 2 out.
No, you wouldn't. That's the beauty of this game, I would say.
Ready now.
You'd
the
see,
pitch.
you know, Gretton's
The swing.
hit a ball that far, even if it's foul. Gretton does strike out, 2 left
that'll
on
close out the
again.
7th. 2 left on.
And now it's
The
7
All-Stars.
scoreless
This
for
is
Sydney
not
as she's
the
at bat.
finest hour. What a
Lands on
tough
deck.
game.
Marky's in the hole.
Sydney Weber steps up to the plate.
Seems like little Smoky Sid can play all day and never get tired.
Yeah, and you know, we can't keep hammering this point in, right? I mean, you look at the hits, right? It's 13 for the Hornets, 11 for the All-Stars, right? So it's not as if individually you're having issues.
Now it's Luann Louise.
It's just that the way the lineup was constructed was just awful, you know? I mean, you've got Keisha hitting 3rd, I believe, but you've got Pete hitting 9th. And there's just a lot of disjoint
Now's a good
in
time for a slow ball.
some of the plays that you could
That
make.
pitch is a tough one for a batter to
You know,
get
and
anything
that's
off
a
of.
thing that the Hornets don't have an issue with, right? Their roster,
He winds
or the order of the lineup, just was constructed a bit better.
a bouncing ball. Got past
And Ricky not able to field this one, and it's a single for Luann.
Okay, that'll bring up Marky to point.
Jacinda, though, I don't know what you got on first base. Marky, though, he's on 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. And if you're the All-Stars, you just gotta hope that you don't allow any more runs here.
Swinging.
As
The
Marky
right one.
swings late at that one.
Heat and smoke
0-1.
that batter.
That was a left hook.
That's a terrific pitch, but it sure is hard on the arm.
Runner on first, 1 out.
Bet you can't hit a touchdown.
He's ready now. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Strike
This one
2.
swung late.
Slow pitch.
0-2.
This would be a great time to
Swing,
use
batter,
the
batter.
heat.
What's up, Doc?
He winds
Ricky.
and the offering.
Up top, and a foul.
A blooper in foul territory. And the count is 0-2.
Count 0-2. Ricky throws again,
Sends him back to
and
the
Marky
dugout.
took it. That's
Take
his
it from me.
4th
Pitchers
strikeout of the
this
game.
good aren't easy to come
And
by.
he's likely done for the day.
Pablo Sanchez steps in.
Pablo's next up.
This young hitter
3 for 3 home run, triple single. He is a double away from the cycle. Let's see if he'll do it, or will he just
Set.
hit it as far as he can.
That was ball 1. 1-0.
What do you think is more likely to? I think for the cherry on top, it's more likely he hits a home run
The
here.
windup. Fires. Ball 2.
But coming in 3rd place is him getting a
Into
or
the
getting
windup.
walked.
The pitch. Strike one. Strong
Pablo looks at that one as well.
My book,
Count.
Solid left
2-1.
hook is the mark of a good pitcher.
And the count's 2-1.
Pablo 3 for 3, home run, triple, single.
Ball 3.
He homered, I think, in the 6th.
Into
To look
the
back on
windup,
that one.
and the throw. The wing.
This one's hit well.
Back one into right center field.
Angela,
Runs over
too
to
low.
it. She
Billie
dives
Jean
for
does get it.
Oh, she missed it. Straight to home plate.
No one's going for that one.
Good.
Pablo comes off of second, so he's not going to get a cycle,
They scored.
but he will get a triple. That is his 3rd extra base hit of the game, his 2nd triple, and he drives Luan in for an 8-0 Hornets lead.
Here's the motion.
Well,
To the plate. A swing.
start talking yet.
Long drive.
Dimitri big hit Angela caught it and ends the top half.
Diving catch. And now
That prevents a
that
run,
sends him back to the
and
dugout.
it's 8-0 at the end of the top half of the 8th inning.
Halfway through the inning now. One left on. The All-Stars
This is in the fourth.
behind.
The All-Stars
Angela
are
at bat,
running
Keisha on
rapidly
deck,
out there.
Ricky in the hole
Angela Del Vecchio coming up
for
in
the
play.
bottom of the 8th inning.
I'm gonna
Sydney.
snap this one for sure.
What a great way to give a welcome back party to backyard baseball in '97.
Delivery.
7 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts, 86 pitches through 7 innings,
Target goes up. Here's
about
the pitch.
12 and a half
Low ball one.
per inning.
Nobody
It's
out.
slightly risen over the past couple of innings, but it's been steady for the most part.
Here's the motion. The 1-1 pitch. Swinging.
This one's hit well.
Lifted it.
Luan running to this one and overshoots it, and it's
And
gonna
that's
go
a
over
ground
the fence.
ball double.
So Luan, she can chase a ball, but she can't really eye one, as Angela gets to second base.
Really swing that lumber. Just hear it.
And this may be, we said this in the 6th, I believe, but this may be the biggest threat to Sydney's shutout.
The windup and the throw. The wing.
Strike one.
Strike one. Weak.
Yeah, and seeing as there's no hard mode in backyard baseball, it's a lot harder
Fire.
for pitchers to get complete games,
Have a runner on second. Nobody
and
out.
especially get shutouts, because, you know, most of the time whenever you see them
From the
in
windup,
01 and
he
03, it's
delivers.
Kurt Schilling, or it's
And
Randy
that's
Johnson,
strike
and that's
three.
really
He's
hit.
out of there.
Or it's a Sydney or a Markey or an Ashley with an orange background, but it's very
Ricky Johnson
difficult.
coming up to the plate.
Well, Keisha strikes out, and that may be it as far as,
Okay, I'm gonna try to make a hit.
you know, if they can get to the bottom of the lineup with Pete, but the rest of the lineup, there's not really much home run threat. You know, Kimmy maybe,
One got
but
by him.
Tries to steal.
oh, what is this? Amir to third, and Angela
Slides into
just
third.
walks into it.
He's out of there.
It's tough not to let an out shake you up. These kids.
You would never see that in 01 and 03. I mean, Angela stealing base, a base. I mean,
Into the
unless
windup.
Tony's
Here's
on
the
this
pitch.
other team, you're never seeing that.
Swing.
That's kind of the beauty of
Fly.
the original here.
And
Amir
that's
caught it,
out.
and that's now 8 scoreless innings.
The All-Stars
For Sydney.
are a little tarnished today.
Here comes Jorge Garcia.
Jorge next. He's 1 for 4 with a single. An easier than usual inning for Sydney pitching, and
The windup
we'll take a look at the
and
stats
offering
at the
the
top 9 or at the
right
bottom
one.
9 rather.
That was a left hook.
That's a terrific pitch, but it sure is hard on the arm.
If you were doing it, so we'll see it now.
The coach calls timeout.
So, you see here, for the All-Stars, I mean, they have 12 hits. It's not as if they've struggled to hit. I mean, Ricky is the only player on the All-Stars who has not hit in this game. It's just that they haven't done very much besides that. And, there's the ball strike thing for Billie Jean, and, 63 pitches, 29 of them were balls. That's
Billie Jean Blackwood.
unbelievable, really.
Pass. 29. Ball thrown.
Kimmy and Ricky kind of a bit more tame with that one, just 16 balls between them. But not a lot done. Otherwise, for the Hornets, everyone except for Markey got a hit, so 16 of the 18 players in this game had hits. Pablo, of course, was 4 for 4. Ashley and Sydney, oddly enough, 8 and 9 in the order, had 2 of the 3 home runs in this game, and the first 2 home runs in this one. Sydney on pace to pitch over 100, but oddly enough, Billie Jean had more balls maybe in the first 2 innings than Sydney's had in 8. And while she has allowed 12 hits, it's been fine. Fielding has bailed her out, you know, whenever it's been needed. Yeah, you know, especially in 01 and 03, right?
Now's a good time for a slow ball.
I think I said this already, like,
Batter's
pitching
gonna
longevity,
eye to smack one of those big
it really matters when it comes down to your fielding. Your fielding is going to carry you through innings, you know.
The pitch. A swing. A bouncing
Grounder
ball.
from Jorge, Ricky, easy play there.
Throws the ball to first.
And Jacinda able to clinch the out. Sydney, though, she's been able to get herself out a lot of jams early, so, you know,
Into the motion and the throw.
the shutout's well coveted.
One.
But it really does feel to me, Gail, that back in the day when we used to have a lot of games of backyard baseball,
Another strike.
you know, we'd have like a doubleheader every week or something like that. It felt like a lot of stuff,
From the stretch and the pitch.
a lot of normal stuff happened in those games. Whereas when you have these one-offs, where you get a game and you don't see another game for 6 months, a year or something, always something unique happens, right? I mean, the Cement Gardens game we saw in 01 a couple of years ago, that went 17 innings, right? I mean, we've seen game after game. Right? We've had backyard baseball weeks years ago, and you just have not seen that at all, for the most part. You've had complete games, the occasional shutout, but you don't really see it
Here's the pitch.
the more games you see.
Turn on the heat and smoke that batter.
Hard left.
Batter's gotta have a
I have
good
noticed it
eye
too.
to smack one of those
But
babies.
especially back in the day when we had just backyard baseball, you didn't see that either.
From the stretch, fire.
This one is slow ball. This one's hit well, and Amir's gonna hit a home run. This one
Running up to it.
smacked into left field. Left field's been abused in this game, and a 9-0 Hornets lead rather.
They just scored. Here comes
I guess it does count as a 9-0 run. Just a long one. Question though is, are you gonna get to 10?
Here's the motion. Here's the pitch. The swing. Strike one. Fast and furious heat.
It was in there.
2 out. Takes the stretch. The pitch.
Left took this one's hit well, not really, it's a pop fly. Just past second base. Billie Jean, though, not able to get the catch.
That play was less than memorable.
Second hit for Ashley, and now Sydney is up. She's 1 for 4 with a home run. She hit that home run in the second inning.
The swing.
to give the Hornets their first lead of the game.
Really shake things up.
And they have not looked back,
Batter's gotta have
as
a great eye to smack one of those babies.
7 innings later,
2 out.
the All-Stars still have a nothing burger.
From the stretch, the pitch.
Slow
Come
ball.
on.
This one is lined into the outfield. Angela gonna be chasing this one. She'll need some
Gobbles it
help.
up, throws it over to third.
Annie coming to it.
Safe. Quick throw to second.
Oh, but there's the fatigue there. The fatigue factor for Sydney.
Throws it over to home.
Oh, Pete
The throw to
goes
third.
third. Now Sydney, or actually rather, comes off of third.
Chuck
Pete
to first.
goes to first.
The throw to home.
And both runners are hold.
Now it's the way of Louise.
Bit of an odd one right there. That is a single for Sydney. First time,
Hey, we want a batter.
you're wrong about this actually, first time I'd say both are on base at the same time. There's a bunt for Luann. Ricky. This will be a close one. No, Kimmy.
Tosses
Well,
it
Luann's
over
got to
to
go back.
Safe at second.
Ashley's going home.
Gotta figure that ball.
And Pete doesn't get there in time.
That's a run.
Ricky got in the way of that one, and there is the 10.
Way to go.
Okay, that's
Hornets
a
up
good point.
10-0,
Listen,
and
do something about
I
it.
think this is where they'll retire for the game offensively, as Markey coming up with his 6th at-bat. He has struck out 4 times. There's a grounder, and I think this should be a fielder's choice. Pete to third. Kimmy flubs it, gets it,
And it was slippery.
and she's safe at third. Well, I will say, all this running is probably not good for the shutout. Well, we saw Pablo in the 8th. He's here in the 9th. He has another chance to get the cycle.
From the windup, fire.
Late swing
And
strikeout.
it was the heat.
That was
Or
the only heater for
you
the
may
bases
see him get a
coming
grand
in.
slam.
I bet you a soda.
The bases are loaded.
I mean,
for
just
2 out.
how crazy would that be?
Go team.
He's ready now and delivers. So
It's a
right
ball.
side, and the count is 1-1.
I mean, there's been some questionable pitching in this game, but Ricky, I
Ready
think, has had
now,
the worst.
1-1 pitch. A swing. and
Late
another strike.
on that one for Pablo
And the count
again.
is 1-2.
He's a perfect 4-for-4 right now.
Hey, we want a batter, not some
Come down to this
And
one.
the throw. Ball
Not yet.
2-2.
2-2.
Bet you can't hit a touchdown.
Hornets lead 10-zip.
From the windup.
Top
2-2
9.
pitch.
That's a ball.
And the count is 3-2.
We
Angela
do not wanna
Del
walk
Vecchio
here.
up to pitch now.
You can't
Well, Angela's
get
now
the
in.
manager going
The
with this
girl who
She
should have
can
started
go
in
out
this game,
blindfolded,
definitely.
standing on one
But
leg
now
and
she'll
cheering
come in
on.
for the final
I'm not sure.
pitch
Maybe
or maybe
it's
2 of
don't
the
mean
game.
anything, But it's cool anyway.
Into the motion. Fires. The swing.
Oh,
He was in
late.
there like swimwear.
Pablo strikes out.
Not a fool. Bye-bye, batter.
And the perfect game for Pablo is done because the Hornets were too
Halfway through
good.
the inning now. 3 left on. The All-Stars losing.
Kimmy at bat, Jacinda on deck as the Hornets finish with 3 straights
going a mile.
innings in which they score.
The stretch and the throw.
And now the only thing we have to worry about is whether or not, or wonder about, is whether or not Sydney is going to get the shutout in this
Here's the
one.
motion. She delivers. Ball 1, and the count is 1-1.
The record books in backyard sports,
The primary objective.
Here's the motion and the delivery.
or especially in backyard baseball, is mainly
That was
word
a
of mouth
slow roll.
that
Good
fades
scrambling.
as time goes on.
Neat.
And
But
she's out.
What a
I
ball.
don't recall
She
ever
gave it
seeing
her
a
best
shutout
shot, though.
being
The
pitched
fifth comes to
in
bat.
the original backyard baseball.
It's time for a home run.
Easy play there is Kimmy, still fatigued from pitching. Not a perfect
Ball
fielding
1 out.
outing there on that one, but had a lot of margin for error there.
The target goes up and delivered.
This one is down the middle. This one is hit
Bouncing Swing ball.
Pablo
A slow
will
roll.
get it. Throws. Ashley got it.
I know these kids can keep it
And
together.
Sydney Weber
Penny Fraser says
is
ready for
one
action.
out away
Piece of that ball.
from a shutout.
Kind hit here, pitcher.
She's at pitch number 99. This is a rarity
She's set. Fire.
in any backyard sport,
A swing.
or rather any version of backyard baseball.
Fly.
That was a
Pop
man of
fly,
time for the
Lisa and
opposing
Pablo
team.
going for it. They both miss. They both don't get it. Pablo will throw this back to Sydney, and that would have been. Well, now we got a little screw up there. That would have been
Wheeler steps in.
game on pitch number 100, but now she'll have to
4 times already.
do it one more time.
What am I supposed to do again?
Sydney's still on the mound.
Here's the motion.
Pete, ninth in the order.
High
The ball.
one. Runner on first. 2 out.
8 2/3. She's allowed a lot of hits,
The
but
windup and
it's
the
been
pitch.
fine. The important thing is that she's allowed no runs. Hasn't walked anyone yet. Pete's not a guy who gets walked very often, really.
Into the windup.
He'll swing at a lot of stuff.
A swing.
It's a foul.
Sliced it. And the count is 2-1.
Now, Gretchen is on deck, so
The windup.
if this
The
isn't a
triple.
home run, I'm not really sure there's a big threat of allowing a run here,
2-2.
as Pete misses the bunt attempt, and now again, one more strike away
The 2-2.
from winning. Got him! Sydney's there, getting the shutout as the Hornets dominate in this one. 12 Ks on the board. 10-0, Hornets win.
The All-Stars have been whooped. 0-10.
These kids had a rough time of it out there today, but they all played their hardest, and that's what counts most of all.
This is Sunny Day and Vinny the Gooch saying see you next time.
So there it is. First game of the original backyard baseball, of which I suppose at some point, if we go back to having more and more games of this, we'll have to actually call it what it is right now, of backyard baseball 97. Sydney Weber, just an excellent game in this one. She was 2 for 5, had that home run in the second inning that drove in Ashley, but an excellent pitching outing.
Sydney Weber has 105 pitches thrown.
12 strikeouts, did allow 13 hits, but all fine.
Sydney Weber has 2 base hits. Dmitry Petrovich has 2 base hits.
One thing you do like about the original backyard baseball is that it does actually show the whole stat line without having to grab it, as we have to do in 01 and 03. Pablo obviously offensively huge in this one, 4 for 5. Unfortunately, struck out in the 9th inning while he was 4 for 4 and still had a double away from the cycle. But easy win here as the Hornets win it 10-0 in Ekman Acres, and hopefully Tim, we can do this again. Definitely, it was fun. You would love to have more of a competitive game, but I guess you'd have to go to 01 for that one. True. That's it. Hornets win it 10-0. Game over.